I'm sorry, Pika, but occasionally there will be bad language. Yes, good people say bad things, bad people say good things. We live in a world that is ambiguous and gray. That's why we seek in our fictions, we have good versus bad, because that's why it's a fictional world where we can have a place to have good versus evil. The real world's ambiguous enough. Our fiction is fictional. Indeed. Welcome back. Once again, it's time for the Comics Coffee Table, where we, at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, daily, we take a few minutes in our day and we remember the power of escapism, and we put aside our problems just for a few moments in a day. And we remember the good things, and we talk about comic books. And I love talking about comic books. If you love talking about comic books, you're in the right place at the right time. We're having this really good conversation about comic books daily, and more people are finding out about it. And welcome. Pull up a chair to our coffee table. Yes. Tell me what you're drinking. Well, what are you putting under your nose today? Let me wet my whistle. I'm going to do some talking. That's really, really good. It's a Honduran coffee. And today is January the 18th. And thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope that you are clobbering your problems and not being clobbered by them. And seriously, I mean, we started this program last year. We used a 365 days book. It's called The Golden Age of DC Comics. 365 days. This was given to me by one of my best friends about 2 decades ago. Literally, it's been surfing my coffee table ever since. It's a hardcover coffee table book. It's meant to be, thumbed through, and it's meant for like general interest. And, we would open up to today's date, January the 18th. We'd look at some comic book art of an antediluvian age. We would read the blurb, and then we'd talk about comic books. Last year, on this date, when we first started doing this show, we were just. I'm glad I didn't get disheartened, and I just kept doing it. I was like, I made my mind up. I was like, I'm going to do a year's worth of content. I'm going to do every page in this book. It's going to give us a quality opportunity to have comic book shop-style conversations every day, just for a few minutes. And so on January 18th, last year, I made it a 6-minute and 18-second long video that got 6 views. Well, 5 views plus one. Because I always, tinker with the background, always make sure that the camera is right. I mean, I like the continuity, and most of all, I like this conversation. So what I was going to do is just revisit January real quick, because we got a lot of newer viewers. And there's been a lot of good buzz about this book itself. Now, there is a link in the description to its Amazon page. You can get your own copy. It's been written and curated by Les Daniels, Chip Kidd, and photographs by Jeff Spear. It's an Anchor publication. And get your own copy. It will look great on your coffee table. You can play along at home. You can start your own series of videos based on this book, and it makes a great gift for a geek. I know. I also use 2 other books while we're at it. And my parents gave me these books for Christmas. And so this season is dedicated to my parents, my mom and my stepdad. And we've got the Overstreet Guide to Grading Comics. This has been a really good thing to read. I'm going to reread it again, just because I want to grok this Spock. This is great information. And also the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide, the most current edition. And we're going to grade our comic books. We're going to find out their relative value, I guess. But also, I want to rebag, reboard, and rebox my entire collection. All my long boxes, they need to be replaced. I'm replacing them with the short box. I mean, the older I get, the heavier the long boxes get as well. And that's a fact of life. So I did a test. I stepped on the scale. Then I stepped back on the scale with the full long box in my hands. And a long box weighs about 50 pounds full. That's a lot of weight. And I've got several of these long boxes. So while I'm, taking care of my collection, I'm going to switch out the boxes. A few of them they were in my basement. It was a little damp. It was really humid a couple of summers ago. And I noticed that a few of my boxes were beginning to show mold. Thank goodness the contents were all safe and sound, and I avoided any, having to throw away, bunches of beloved comics. So I am, I'm taking this as an opportunity to celebrate my local comic book shop and to go there and buy supplies regularly. Instead of ordering from Amazon and getting them delivered and probably on the cheaper and getting the availability of like the product that I'm looking for. I mean, I need to get new bags. These bags, you get what you pay for. Literally, I paid $8.99 for a bag of 100. I am not knocking my store or this brand. You just get what you pay for. And I'm looking for My Lights by brand name or its equal, and they're just out of stock. And it will be talk to your people at your local comic book shop. And like he said, it would be about 12 weeks until they can get those in. And I'm like, fine, sure, well, I'll roll with it. I mean, and but I'd rather buy through my local comic book shop than and only we can help keep our comic book shops open and alive. This is, think of it this way. It's a redistribution of my wealth. I mean, I am taking my earnings. I have part of that I can spend on a hobby. I'd rather go to the hobby shop and keep my hobby shop open than always buy things from the internet. I mean, because once these stores are gone, they're gone. I mean, they're going to be a part of history. I mean, and so as a lifelong comic book fan, I want to be proactive. I want to go to my comic book shop a bit more regularly and buy supplies with them and contribute to redistribute my wealth. This is how it's done, and with choice, and just and qualities and things. So there is you can look at it that way. Look, hey, I am literally trying to keep the store in my village square viable, sustainable, open, and part of my community. And it's a great comic book store. It's also a vintage toy store, and it's like one of the only comic book stores in recent history I've seen actual children in. Before the COOF and before lockdown 2020, they had they had games nights, and I hope that they get back into that, because it's always wonderful to see a gaggle of children, and the joy that that bubbles from them when they're in delight, and they're around other children and they're playing like the Magic the Gathering, and having or Pokemon, and they're having yes, you're very popular there. You are world. You are international. This is true, but oh yeah, we didn't even do a page yesterday. I feel so bad. I was like, we skipped a page. That's okay. It happens. No, it doesn't. But we're getting on with the show. We're gonna eventually ditch the book, But we love this book. It's a nice book, and but yeah, we've covered it already. But like I said, I wanted to do like a quick January redo because just newer viewers might have missed out on this. The introduction to Dr. Midnight. Dun, dun, dun. And look, there's a ventriloquist dummy. Remember, this is like the 1940s, where stage performers, this is before television, and let's see. Any ventriloquist can exercise complete control over a dummy, make it walk, talk, and do tricks. But when a dummy turns on a ventriloquist and renders him helpless, that's news. The kind of news that intrigues Dr. Midnight and that challenges him to solve the riddle of the blazing dummy. And see, there's Dr. Midnight has a pet owl. Yeah. No, I don't think he's got superpowers yet. This is art by Stan Josephs. It's from All American Comics, issue number 55, January of 1944. Just remember, the golden age of DC Comics runs between 1938, Action Comics number 1, the premiere of Superman, starting off this whole big thing about this American mythology of the superhero. And it goes until 1955. The Silver Age starts in 1956 and goes to 1970. The Bronze Age, I'm a Bronze Age baby myself, runs from 1970 to 1984. And the Copper Age begins in 1984. I get these definitions from the glossary of the Overstreet Price Guide. I do. And there are links to their Amazon pages if you want your own copies to play along at home this year. Seriously, they're great info for any comics fan, from a noob to a veteran. If you don't have this, I mean, that's a solid suggestion from me. I mean, I put those links in the description on purpose so you hopefully would get your own copy. We're going to be using these books all year long. But let's read the blurb real quick. There's something eerie about a ventriloquist's dummy, and something twice as weird about two. Especially when the drawing style makes them look like two ordinary people clutched in the arms of a masked, grinning giant. And the owl doesn't help either, although he's a symbolic explanation of the gimmick that kept Dr. Midnight in the spotlight for several years. Despite the depressing effect it might have on his practice, Dr. Charles McNider, let the world think he was blind, when in reality, his special infrared glasses lent him perfect vision by day. And at night he could see better than anyone, especially when he was tossing smoke bombs around, as was his wont. Created by Charles Reisenstein and Stanley Ashmeyer, the Good Doctor had his own series and was also a member in good standing of the Justice Society of America. The JSA. Yes, we'll find out more and more about the JSA as this month goes along. And what are we doing? What are we bagging and boarding? We're bagging, boarding, and boxing the rest of my 2022 books. So there won't be that much looking up in Overstreets. Yet, while I have your attention about the Overstreets, we can use it real quickly. I'm gonna look up Pika. We should have done this before the show. I mean, FI Final Crisis. I want to know the value of Final Crisis issue number 1. Fight an army, fire star. Final Crisis, dance. Oh gosh, I have all of these Final Crisis tie-ins. I really do. Final Crisis number 1 is worth $4, 9.2. And I doubt my copy's in 9.2. And I'll show you why. Which is unfortunate because this has a $3.99 cover price back in July of 2008. As we do here, we're going to find out how much. We're going to use the CPI inflation calculator from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. We're going to see $3.99. in July of 2008 is worth $5.41 today. So it's not even though it can keep up with its own value of its spent. It has literally retained its cover price. But I ask you to look at the evidence seen before you here today. Behold, that cracked spine. You can see it, can't you? Yeah. That corner's a little dinged up right there. You see that? These have been in bags since I got them. Yet I didn't put a board in there. And this is why we need a board. See those? Because over time, they topple over in your long boxes and things. And the pages will bend. But see all those spine cracks? All of that would take away from the grading. You can see it over here in the ad. Back when they had ads. Yeah, see that? That's all. Those are dings, man. Those are dings. Do we have better terminology for ding yet? I don't think so. Is it a bad word? No, it's not. Gosh, get over ourselves. And let's look up $3.99 in December of 2005. Only 3 years before the final crisis we have. The infinite crisis. I bet it's going to be the same deal. Okay, GHIM. Too far. Inhumans, Infinity Incorporated, Infinity Wars, Infinite Loop, Infinite Frontier, Infinite Crisis. There's a special edition. Of okay, well, $8 this would be worth. Okay, so $3.99 in 2005 has the same buying power today of $6.02. Final Crisis number 1, if it was a 9.2, would go for $8. Here is my Final Crisis number 1. Yeah, but behold, look at that corner. I mean, seriously. This is well loved, well read, to be honest. I've gotten lots of good reads out of this. But look at that corner. And look at there's like scratching on this. So this is like the cover quality. But look at the bottom of this page. You can see the corner. Those are paints. So that's not like supposed to be there. That's supposed to be all dark. Those are that's like flaking off, whatever it is. Just, or little scratches. Those are like little scratches. That's wear and tear. It is. See that? We have a big. That's a ding. Right there, where my finger is. Tap, tap, tap. Yeah. Indeed. So yeah. So would this be worth $8? I don't know. Maybe. I don't think so because, I mean, all that fading right there really takes away from that 9. I mean, geez, I'd be lucky. What would we grade this? Well, we'd have to use the book some more and find some better, you know what I mean, some better criteria to judge it on. But yeah, so they all need boards. They need boards, you savage. That's what Brody said at the flea market and mall rats. So yeah, we're just bagging and boarding, and then we're gonna box. And just so you can see what I've been buying all year, 2002. I got this on suggestion from Javane during one of Wes's Thinking Criticals. He suggested that anyone with a love of who wants just an old comic book adventure, a little some escapism, something nothing too serious to think about. Look, it's the Baroness. I love the Baroness. This is done in the style of the G.I. Joe, a real American hero cartoon. And they call it the Saturday Morning Adventures. And it's on IDW. It's the only issue I bought. But it's okay, and it's going to get its own bag because we need to respect our funny books. I'm going to put it in with. See, I don't know if I'm going to get the rest of this one. This started okay. This is a $1.99 cover price. It's by Mark Millar, and Juan on Ramirez. It says Nightclub. It's about a vampire who decides to use his power to be a superhero, and. Yeah, this is Mark Millar, but he's taking this chance. He says he's not making any money off of this because of the cover price, but he wanted to have to see how it would sell. Would it sell if he made a $1.99 comic book? If we brought the prices back down, so it's an interesting experiment, and you can only get this at the direct market. Like remember, you can't get this on a spinner rack anymore or in the newsstand. So literally, I think the comic book shop might not carry it because it's not going to make them any money either. You know, so it's there is there's something about the health of the comic book industry is it's inflated because cover prices and variants misrepresent what's actually being sold, I guess, or how healthy it is, or would comic books be healthier if they were cheaper? I mean, so we're finding out with Nightclub. It's 6 issues, so it will be $12 when we're all done. And but the median price is about $3.99 an issue. And it has been for a decade, according to Comic Run. See, that's $3.99 for an issue. Yeah, and that's that. We're bagging and boarding. We're appreciating our comic books, and we're telling a story for each of these stories. And thank you so much for tuning in today. We've been talking about comic books. We're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. We're at the Comics Coffee Table, where we are leaving behind the world's problems for a few minutes in our day, and we're just going to talk about the love of escapism and the love of our comic books and the love of our hobby. So cheers, God bless, namaste. Like and subscribe. I would love to earn your subscription. We make daily content here. We talk about comic books every day at 3 p.m. I'm also a professional chef. I make a lot of cooking videos, so look out for that. We talk about gratitude and spirituality often, there's something hopefully for everyone. If you like food or if you like comic books, or spirituality and gratitude. So cheers, God bless, namaste, good luck. Thank you so very much for coming to the coffee table today. See you tomorrow in those funny pages. Ciao, bye-bye.